Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, Haley. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, Dan.
We have a lot of fun stuff to cover. We're going to talk about lessons that I learned on vacation, and we're going to apply that to home improvement stuff, and I think that's going to be fun.
But if that doesn't sound like fun, you should still hang out,
Yeah.
because at the very end, we have something really exciting. Really, truly, universally.
But what I'm talking about is
exciting.
truly exciting, Haley. I'm really confused that you would downplay my lessons from vacation.
No, that's exciting too.
But maybe not as exciting as giving away the $1,500 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
To how many winners?
10.
10 winners. We're going to talk about a contest that we're going to launch. And yeah, all kinds of good stuff to win. Really cool stuff. Biggest thing we've done, right?
Right. This is our biggest prize. So
yeah, and that's coming up at the end of the show. 10 winners. We'll tell you how the contest works coming up. But right now, let's talk about those lessons I learned on vacation.
Yes.
Because they apply to home improvement stuff.
they do.
And some of it's really a stretch. But I think it's fun.
They're fun. They're like DIY parables.
Yeah, DIY parables.
Yeah.
And so the very first DIY parable I have, the lesson that I learned on vacation, is that the boat ride to Mackinac Island, which is where we went, the boat ride, the ferry ride, is way more fun, way more fun. I cannot stress how much more fun when you don't sit next to the kid who gets seasick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have traveled to the island multiple years, and my daughter Madison always gets seasick, no matter what she does.
Like, where's the bracelets?
Oh, she does
drumming.
everything. Everything. We sing to her. We rock her back and forth ahead of time to get her used to it. Nothing seems to help. And she instantly goes green once we start going. And this year was no different. The only thing different this year is that we were actually packed into the boat with tons more people than normal. So we're shoulder to shoulder, wedged in really tight. And instantly we watch her face go green.
Oof.
And so the rest of the ride is us all panicking.
Yeah, it's very stressful. Because if she pukes,
if she does,
I'm gonna puke.
Oh my goodness, the number of people that's gonna it's gonna wreck everybody's vacation.
Yeah,
and they're gonna recognize us because we probably don't have enough clothes on the island to.
Well, and you're gonna be wearing a Repcolate shirt.
Oh my goodness, they'll find us on the radio and leave comments.
Right.
So stressful watching her all the way to the island. All right. Every year we do this. I don't enjoy that boat ride at all. Well, on the way back this time, I remembered it. For the first time ever, I remembered it. She gets seasick. And so as we're going onto the little ferry, I said, Maddie, do you think maybe sitting up on top on the deck, the open deck with all that open air blowing over your face, is that going to help you? She said, maybe. We should try. She went up. The other kids started to follow. I grabbed him. I said, we're going down below. Because if she blows up there, at least we're not with her.
Oh, you're a terrible person.
I know, but I loved that boat ride. It was so much fun. I was kicking back. I was having fun. I figured worst case scenario, I see something coming down the windows. I don't know who that kid was. As long as we can avoid her on the docks, we're good.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, how in the world does that apply to home improvement? Well, the way I would say it is this. Some people are cut out for boat rides and some people aren't. Riding with the people that aren't, it's not much fun.
No, it's not.
Some people are cut out for projects. They have the know-how, they have the desire, they have all of those things. They're excited about it, whatever. And some people just aren't any of those things. They're not excited. They don't have the know-how. They don't want to learn it.
Right.
And I'm thinking about spouses particularly.
Yeah, I can think of some certain situations that I've been in with Jordan, and there are projects that I've done before. And now that we're in a house together, I feel like we should share the project, like it's our project, right?
You don't want him sitting there eating Cheetos or something while you're working.
Exactly.
So you try to crack the whip and make them work.
But then the results, it's very stressful because he doesn't know how to do the thing that I'm doing. Then I'm stopping always and trying to correct, and then that it's just not fun.
Completely get it. Or you've got the people who just don't see the vision. I don't know how many times. In fact, I would say it's maybe not most, but it's a lot of the time where it's one person who's the driving force behind this change.
Sure, yeah.
I know Mom was that way at home. There was always, she wants to get this room updated, and it didn't matter to Dad.
Yeah.
And Mom could get all excited about it and try to get Dad excited. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And all that does is create stress because now you're frustrated. That person's not as involved as they should be. They're not as energized. They're not.
Why aren't they excited for this?
Don't involve them. Not everybody is cut out for everything.
Yeah.
Find a friend that you can work with or a family member. You did this with your wallpaper project.
Yeah.
For this reason.
For this exact reason. I knew that, Jordan was excited for the wallpaper, but I knew that I would not be doing very well stress-wise because it was my first time doing it and it was going to be his first time doing it. And when I'm stressed out, he gets stressed out. And then we're both stressed working on a project and it's not going to be fun.
Not for anybody.
Not for anyone. But my mom had done some, years and years ago. So I said, why don't you come over? I'll work with you and we can do this project together. And it went so much better.
No, I know we're kind of making a joke, but really it's super serious in a sense. And it's certainly true, really true, that you can have a lot more fun with your project, a lot better results, a lot better atmosphere in the home as you work through a project if you don't try to force somebody into it. Sitting there and telling my daughter, don't get seasick. Or, do you feel better now?
Yes.
How about now? How about now?
Help.
None of that helps. You can't make it happen.
No.
You just have to work with what you've got and make adjustments. Ride in the lower deck.
Yeah.
It's way better. All right, second lesson that I learned is that if you're going to go wandering through the woods looking for all kinds of flora and fauna to bring back, make sure somebody is with you who knows which flora and fauna are poison oak, poison ivy, poison sumac, and all of those other poison things. You don't want to wander into that stuff
Yeah, that's
and be
a good
covered
one.
with stuff that wrecks your entire
That's
vacation.
going to be the entire vacation, yeah.
Thankfully, we went with my older son, Caleb, and he's aware of all of that. Sadly, Caleb's also really likes to joke. And so every time we touched anything, he would inform us it was poison ivy, poison oak. And that led to its own level of stress.
That's very funny,
But
though.
overall, we knew what to avoid. Now, how in the world does that apply to home improvement stuff? Well, I think the argument can be made that when you're in a project or jumping into a project, you need to talk to the experts. You need to find people who know the landscape, the lay of the land, and how
Yes.
things work. And we're here to help with that at Repcolite, at Port City Paints. We're available almost all the time. You can call the stores. You can go online, send us emails
Right.
to info@repcolite.com.
Well, and we have the online chat, too. We've got a real person on the other end that's ready to answer your questions.
There's so many
you
people
have
are
help.
right, brand new in a project. They're owning their first homes, and they don't know exactly what they're looking at and what they're in for. They think they do. It's really good to just ask those questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
Let us help you before you get into it, before you've moved past it, and you're already knee deep in the poison ivy.
Exactly.
Let's stop you before you get
Exactly.
there, and we're here to help. By all means, ask any questions you've got, and we'll walk you through whatever you need. I've got more. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to just end, because we've got to stop this segment for the radio. We're going to keep going for the YouTube one, though.
Yes.
So if you want to catch the whole thing, find us on YouTube right now. For the radio, we're going to pause. When we're back, we'll be talking about cyanotype prints,
Yeah.
and we'll explain what all
Very
of that
cool.
is in just a minute. Stay tuned. So now we get to finish with the lessons from vacation
your third one.
on YouTube. Yes, the YouTube people. They're getting all the gold now.
Yeah. This
So
is
my
primo.
third point, which really is the weakest of the points, is
Save the best for last.
don't feed even one seagull. Even one. It may look innocent. It may look even polite. We had one, Gus, who stopped by. Yeah, we name everything. And Gus came while we were eating pizza outside the big fort on Mackinac Island. There's the big
Mackinac
fort, and then there's a
Park.
great big park area down below. And there's a statue, and we sit by that statue because there's a little bit of shade there. And we got pizza boxes from the little grocery store on the
Sure.
island. If you're on the island and you're looking for cheap food, that was the cheapest we found. They make great pizzas. And that was Dowd's Market, I think it was.
Pro
Check
tip.
it out. Pro tip from Dan, me. Wasn't sure how to call myself for a second. Anyway, we're eating pizza, and Gus shows up. One lone seagull. We don't see any other seagulls there. It was very surprising.
Yeah.
And Gus was so polite. He just wandered. He had his little arms. Well, they don't have arms, but his wings were
wings,
tucked back
sure.
behind, like
Yeah.
behind his back, like a little gentleman.
Yeah.
And he would wander, and he'd look at us, and we tried to avoid him, and don't make eye contact. So I didn't want to get attacked. I've seen The Birds,
Sure,
that
yeah.
movie, and
Yeah.
I know what they do. They go for the eyes.
Oh, my God.
And so we're just leaving Gus alone as we eat our pizza. Well, he was so polite. He didn't squawk. He didn't do anything. He just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
And eventually we bonded.
Yeah.
I do bond quickly with most
Sure.
creatures that aren't
Things
attacking me.
even.
And when I got done, I had one little crust, and I thought I'm going to just throw him a scrap.
Yeah.
Throw him a bone, basically, is what I'm going to do. There's no other seagulls around. That piece hadn't even hit the ground, and we were swarmed. But I don't know where they came from, where
They're
they
just
were
like,
hiding.
Up above.
Yes, I bet we
Waiting
had
for the moment.
20 seagulls descend upon us. It literally felt like the birds. The kids were starting to holler, the girls, Hannah especially, are they going for my eyes, Dad? I said, they will, so look out. That's their
Oh,
first
my gosh.
point of attack. And so we're freaking out. Gus, he got his little piece and went away. Stan was one of the other seagulls that he stayed longer than everybody else. He drove Gus away. Stan was not polite, not like Gus at all.
It's the bully.
Yeah, he chased the other ones away, and then I've never seen a seagull do this, but he would squawk, and
Sure.
scream at the
Yeah,
sky in
yeah.
rage. But then he was so mad at us, I thought. That's all I could think. He would look at the ground, like put his face straight into the ground
Yeah.
and scream as loud as he could, straight into the ground. And then he'd put his head in the air and just keep screaming at the sky.
Wow.
So mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serious rage.
Don't feed even one seagull. How in the world do we make that into home improvement DIY tips?
I feel like the seagulls are like, it's like our inner seagulls.
Don't
don't
feed it.
feed your inner seagulls.
Which means what, Haley? You had such a brilliant answer for this. Because I pitched it and I said, I know there's a lesson here, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know it's something about following distractions, how seagulls are thieves,
right?
how they steal stuff, they want to steal.
Maybe it's like taking your time,
Stealing
right?
our
And
time.
I think that when I get home, I have a project that I'm working on. We all know that I'm working on my garage renovation, and I try to work on a little bit, at least 20 minutes a day, just go in there and work on something. Some days it's very hard, though. I'll get home and I'll eat dinner, and then
The seagulls show up. The distractions.
Seagulls, yeah. I'll just watch an episode, just one
You're gonna
episode,
feed
just to
Gus.
digest.
Right.
And then I'll go
Stan
out
shows up
to the
with all the
garage.
other ones.
And then, I just get sucked in. I'm never going to leave.
Yeah.
So nothing gets done that night. So don't feed your inner seagull. Just
Right. I've had it with...
don't give in.
I'm looking up a project. How do I do such and such? Mm-hmm. And I watch the little video, and I'm encouraged,
Sure.
to get out there, energized to get out there and tackle it. And stupid thing throws a recommended video at me that's interesting. Well, I'll just watch this quick recommended
Sure.
video from the YouTube, Maybe
And then
it's-
you're just down the rabbit hole.
And then, before you know it, it's too late to get out to the garage and do the work that I was going to do.
Yeah.
Really frustrating. The other thing I have, my seagulls aren't necessarily inner. They've come out. My seagulls are that I chase down other aspects of other projects. I will start something, and I will get really, starting to pick up steam on it.
Yep.
And I'll go down to the basement to get a tool, let's say.
Sure.
Just to make this simple. This happens all the time. I'll go get a hammer. Well, I can't find the hammer because the workbench is a mess.
Yeah.
So now, somehow,
just
my
clean
brain
this
shuts
up.
off, and I'm just going to clean this mess up. I'm going to chase this down.
Yeah.
Well, then eventually I find the hammer in the cleaning. Oh, that's right. I've got that other thing going up. And then, that's kind of making a little bit of an exaggeration, but that kind of thing happens. I chase down other projects, and I don't end up completing the one that
So now
I
you've
started
got
all
like
the
a
time.
dozen half-finished projects.
All these seagulls that are squawking,
Yeah.
and they don't ever shut up. So now you've got 12 things nagging at you.
just screaming into the ground.
I was way better dealing with one nagging little thing, which was Gus, who was
Yeah.
actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
He was
seems
just
polite.
playing on my guilt a little bit.
Yeah.
One project playing on your guilt is one thing. Start a bunch of them, and now all of a sudden you got a whole flock that's nagging
Right.
at you, and then things shut down. Or like Haley said, Haley's take on this,
I think it's inner.
it's the inner seagulls
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
Either way, we know everybody's covered with seagulls. You figure out whether they're in you or outside of you, and you deal with them. Just don't feed them, right?
Not even one.
Not even one. Okay, lessons from vacation, the extended take on the YouTube. We're still going to take a break.
Yeah.
We'll still come back and talk about cyanotypes, and I don't have my picture to show everybody right off the bat. It's
We'll put
really,
a picture on the screen.
really super cool. You're going to want to check that out. That's all just ahead. Stay tuned.